Hello guys, welcome to the session 8 in TestNG series. So in this session we are going to see grouping concept in the TestNG. So this is the part number 1, and in this part we will see what is TestNG groups, why do we need TestNG groups, then we will see how we can define these TestNG groups at the TestNG method level, then TestNG class level, then how we can run these groups. Once you create the TestNG groups, how you can run it using the TestNG XML file depending upon the test level or suite level, and then we will see how we can exclude a specific group from the execution. So concept that we are going to talk about as a part of this session 8 are going to be a very important for your real-time projects in your real-time automation framework, and very important for your interview point of view as well. So first let's see what is TestNG groups. Okay, so until now we have seen about the TestNG methods. Okay, so first we have seen about the TestNG class, right, in previous sessions, and then we have seen what is TestNG methods as well. Okay, so I hope you know what exactly the TestNG class and TestNG methods are, and in this session we are going to talk about TestNG groups. Okay, TestNG groups. So what is TestNG groups? So I can say it is a group of TestNG methods. So very simple, in one sentence you can say it is a group of TestNG methods. So this TestNG methods can be present in same TestNG class or different TestNG class in the same package or different package. So I will make it more specific. It is a group of TestNG methods present in the same or different TestNG classes available in one or more packages. So basically we will have some packages first, right? So first we will have some one or more different packages, then we will have TestNG class, and inside TestNG class we can define one or more TestNG methods. Okay, this is the hierarchy. So TestNG groups is nothing but a group of TestNG methods present in the same or different TestNG classes available in one or more packages. Okay, so this is the simple definition of the TestNG groups. So next point is, why do we need these TestNG groups? Why it is required and what is the use of it? So once you understand why we are going to use these TestNG groups, then how we are going to use it, how we are going to create and run these TestNG groups will be very easy. So in our day-to-day life also, we create a group of things which are required to do some specific tasks more effectively and efficiently. For example, if you are going for a trekking, then you will create a group of things required for the trekking, shoes, bottle, whatever things are required. Okay, so you will keep all these things, you collect these things, and you take a one bag, and you will keep all these things in that bag. Okay, means you have created the group of related things required to do a specific task more efficiently and effectively, right? Similarly, if you are going for a gym, so what things you will require, those things you will collect together and keep them in another bag, so that when it is time to go for a gym, you can directly pick that bag and you will go. So by doing this, by creating the group of things, you are saving your time. So coming to our automation testing, we would have thousands of test methods. Okay, you will have thousands of test methods, test cases. So we need to categorize all these test methods depending upon their the what functionality they are testing, what module they are going to test, like that. So let me explain this with simple example. Let's say as of now I only have, instead of 1000, I will have, let's say, 100 test methods. Okay, so and out of this 100 test methods, those will be available in different TestNG classes, right? So I already told you we will have different TestNG classes, and inside TestNG classes we will have these test methods. Okay, so for example, let's say I have let's say 10 TestNG classes, and I have this TestNG methods. These are the 100. So suppose I have 10 TestNG classes, okay, from TestNG 1 to 10, and in each TestNG class I have defined 10 test methods. So each TestNG class will have 10 test methods. Okay, very simple. So now I want to divide these 100 test methods depending upon the module they are testing or the functionality they are testing. So for example, I have different modules in my application. So as of now, let's consider we have module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4 and module 5. So these modules are related to some specific functionality in my application. Let's say for Flipkart kind of application, we will have this product search functionality. Okay, so there are 20 test cases which are going to test this product search functionality. Then there is module 2 which is about product pricing. Okay, so again we have 20 test cases. Then product cart. Okay, then payment module. Okay, so 30 test cases are going to test this payment functionality in module 4, and in module 5 we have this offer zone. So there are 10 test cases which are going to test this offer zone functionality. So this is my scenario. Out of these 100 test methods, I want to divide these 100 test methods such that if I want to run some test cases which are related to the payment module only. Okay, so let's say there is some changes in my module 4 in my payment functionality, then I need to run only these 30 test cases. Okay, out of 100 I need to run these 30 test cases quickly so that I will get the result, and if this anything fail in that 30 test cases, I can get a quick fix from the developer. Okay, I will log the bugs and I will fix it quickly. That means I don't require to run these 100 test methods on priority. My priority is for these 30 test cases which are related to only this payment module, where we have added some functionality or where we have added some fix for the release bugs. Okay, so on priority I want to run only 30 test cases which are going to test this payment module. Okay, so anyhow we are going to do our full coverage or full regression running all these 100 test methods, but we can do it later. First our priority should be these 30 test cases related to the payment module, and if all 30 test cases pass, then we can run our regression or test coverage running all the test methods for checking all the functionalities. So our scenario is how we are going to create these categories first related to the depending upon some module or functionality, and how we are going to run only 30 test cases which are testing the payment module. So now think about this for a minute, that you need to implement this scenario in your Selenium framework. So you know the TestNG concept. Let's say you know about the TestNG suite, TestNG test, classes, TestNG methods, but you don't know anything about the TestNG groups. So how we are going to implement this scenario and how we are going to run these related test cases in TestNG. So any candidate who know about the basic of the TestNG concept, but he don't know about the TestNG groups, then he can answer that I will create a TestNG XML file, and inside the TestNG suite I will create different tests depending upon the different modules, and I will add these TestNG methods. Okay, if I want to run only payment module test methods, then I will create the test for that, and I will add these 30 test methods in that TestNG test by using the include tag. So let me show you this practically, and then you will understand what is the wrong or what is the disadvantage of this approach by creating the multiple tests for handling this kind of scenarios. So let's say you don't know about the TestNG groups. So one way we can handle this scenario is by adding multiple tests in your TestNG XML file. Okay, so in TestNG XML file we will have this test suite. So TestNG suite is nothing but the collection or group of one or more TestNG tests. Okay, so we are talking about the TestNG groups, which is a group or collection of one or more TestNG methods, not the test. So one way to handle that scenario without using the TestNG group is by adding the multiple tests in our TestNG XML file. So what I can do is I can add this multiple test. Let's say this is the module 1 test, then I will have module 2 test. Similarly I can have the module 3 test. Okay, so similarly we can have the multiple tests for multiple modules in your real-time application. Okay, and inside that test I will add the different classes, TestNG classes, and what are the methods I want to run from that TestNG classes. So for example, M1 and M5 from the test case 1, that is the TestNG class, are going to test this module 1 functionality, and same from the test case 2, M2 and M4 test methods are going to test my module 1 functionality. Similarly, for testing this module 2 functionality, I will add multiple test methods by using this include tag from the multiple one or more TestNG classes. Okay, and same for other modules as well. So with this approach, you are going to get the result. Okay, the same result. If I want to run only module 1 test methods, test cases, then you will be able to do that using this test.ng XML file very easily. But what is the wrong with this approach is, for each and every test module, I will have to add these multiple entries of the test.ng classes, then methods by using this include tag. Then for different module, I will have to do the same. So here I have just added this configuration for 3 modules. So in your real-time project, we will have 20, 30, 50 modules. Okay, so in that case, you will have to add multiple entries here. So you can imagine what will be the size of this test.ng XML file. Okay, that will be a very lengthy file, and it will be hard to maintain and hard to update. So one thing you need to keep in mind while designing your automation framework or adding your test cases, this test.ng classes, test method, is that you are not the only person who is going to use that automation code. So you are not the only person who will add the test methods, okay, who will add the test cases, or who are going to run the test cases. We work in a team, right? So all the team members should be able to understand what exactly you have done here in the test.ng XML file. And if I want to update anything, or if I want to remove any test methods, or if I want to add any new test methods, that should be easy to understand and easy to update. Okay, so for handling that scenario, let's say you created this kind of configuration inside the test.ng XML file. So you know what test methods you have included and what you have excluded. So in future, if I want to update it, you will be able to do it easily, but not the other person. So if I adding separate test for testing a separate module in my application, in my real-time projects, so it will be very hard to understand, hard to update, and hard to maintain. This is why this approach is completely wrong. Okay, even though you are going to get the result, but approach is very important. What kind of approach you are using to handle that scenario? Okay, so test.ng already knows this kind of scenario, that in real-time project we can have multiple modules. So there can be a situation that I want to run some particular test methods which are testing a specific module in my application. So there should be a way by which I can handle the same scenario, but more effectively, efficiently, and in less time. Okay, and that's why this test.ng groups concept comes into picture. So by using this test.ng group concept, I can categorize my test methods in my framework very easily, depending upon what kind of functionality or module they are testing, in very less time. And that is the best way you can use for handling this kind of scenario in your real-time project. So I hope you are clear about why do we need the test.ng groups concept.